Hi, I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And usually we walk out of the TARDIS with our sonic screwdrivers to review each episode of Doctor Who every single week. But guys, we're secretly on vacation right now.
What?
So we won't have a recap of episode 2 going up today. It'll happen next week with episode 3. So you'll get episode 2 and episode 3. But instead, you know what we thought we would do? We thought we would go through your comments from last week's video, some of your theories about season 10, and series 10, excuse me, and see what you think is gonna happen and what we think is gonna happen.
Yeah,
Just talk about it.
It's gonna be good.
Right. So our first comment comes from Colin Wilson. He says, maybe he is in the vault, or at least his next generation. Of course, in the episode 1, the pilot of this series, we saw a vault. We don't know what's inside the vault. I assume he is talking about the Doctor.
Yes.
Now, I have heard this theory on Twitter. I've heard this theory on Facebook about that. A lot of people think the next Doctor, the 13th Doctor, is in... Oh, the unlucky Doctor. The unlucky Doctor is inside the vault. I think that's an intriguing theory that Peter Capaldi could be protecting his future regeneration. What do you think about that theory?
I admire that you think that. I think that's a tough theory for me to wrap my head around because... See, there's difficulty. Because it would be so on the nose with the crossing your own timeline thing, and I know that the Doctor has done that a number of times. We've got
the Doctor are the biggest example.
We've got some tremendous episodes out of it, but that's so anti the rules that this universe is supposed to play in that I don't think that that's the case.
Well, devil's advocate, think about it this way. I mean, unveiling what is inside the vault, and if it's the next Doctor, would be a pretty amazing introduction.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be interesting, but
sure.
I think when you are objectively looking at the rules of the world, I don't think it's possible.
It's fine. Next comment, Justine Alexandra says, I just think it will be a multi-master story like we've seen with the Doctor. At least that's what I'm hoping. Also, Nardole is so funny to me, so I'm so happy to see him back, and I'm liking Bill too. Okay, this is in reference to the Coming Soon trailer from last week showed John Sims, the 10th Doctor's Master, back as the Master with the classic Doctor Who series goatee, which I think is amazing.
Do you think they're also going to call the actor who played the Master for the 8th Doctor's movie to come if it's going to be a multi-master story?
Eric Roberts?
Yeah.
I hope not.
They'll do Day of the Master instead of Day of the Doctor.
I was just about to say that you know, to be honest with you, I kind of hope they're punking us on the title of that episode.
Yeah.
And I hope when that, whatever episode it is, I hope it's called Day of the Master. I think that's the perfect name. You know, I agree with you that I think it's going to be cool that we're going to see a multi-master storyline. I think that's interesting.
Do we know that we're going to see them together though?
We don't.
Because there's been no pictures and no footage of them in the same scene, so we could be seeing him playing out a memory, or
Capaldi could cross him.
Go back and like I know he's probably going to meet Missy.
Well,
why would you bring him back and not do that? But we haven't had that confirmed yet.
Well, the big theory that is actually online again, and this is also a theory that I agree with, is that Stephen Moffat is very big on seeing the regenerations of the Doctors.
Yes.
That's the whole reason why he created that Night of the Doctor, so that we could see the 8th Doctor regenerate into the War Doctor.
And bless him for doing it.
And in the Day of the Doctor, we saw the War Doctor specifically regenerate into the 9th Doctor.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people are saying that they think that this is Stephen Moffat specifically going to show you John Sims regenerating into Missy.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, I'm fine with that. I don't think you really need it. I kind of hope it's more of a multi-master across the streams.
I think it could be an interesting way too, since we're now confirming that Time Lords can switch genders at will. If we see why he makes that decision, if that becomes a storyline about why he wants to regenerate into a female.
Especially if the 13th Doctor is going to be a woman.
Yeah, that could be very interesting.
Which is a possibility.
Yeah.
John Millen says, Jawiin, Matt Smith was spotted on set this season. Jason, I think your prediction is onto something. It's funny how news broke a few months ago that the rumor that Matt Smith was returning to play the Doctor again, which Matt Smith debunked that he wasn't going to return, but you never know how the show decides to play this one out. All right, I had not heard this.
I had not heard it either.
I Googled all over the internet.
All over the Google.
All over the Google, looking for all kinds of information about Matt Smith on set. Nothing has been confirmed about this.
Yeah, no photos and no confirmation. It's all conjecture.
I think it's not true. I think, like I said, like if my theory, what he's referring to with my theory is that my prediction is that when Peter Capaldi regenerates, since he is the new regeneration of this new cycle, the first, I think he will sort of reverse regenerate into previous Doctors. But I think when they do that, they're just going to use shots from the previous shows.
Or that they might have lined up for Day of the Doctor.
Promotional stills,
because we did
whatever.
A whole bunch of stuff to get all the Doctors together and footage of all the Doctors to intercut for that event.
There's plenty of footage to use for the special effect. I don't think they're going to bring an actor just for that one little scene. So if they do that, I don't think Matt Smith filmed anything for this series.
There were rumors all throughout Matt Smith's series that David Tennant was going to show up, and we never did that again until the big Day of the Doctor crossover. So I think it's unlikely. I really like Matt Smith.
Yeah, me too.
But we've already seen him cameo in Capaldi's series with the phone call from Clara.
In the very first episode, yeah.
And I think it's too much of a step in the wrong direction to bring him back. Plus, if you look at his career as an actor since then, you can tell that he's really trying to break away from just being the goofy Doctor. And now that he's on The Crown, I think that's probably where his focus lies. He's just trying to be the goofy monarch. He could also, he's not that goofy on that show at all. He could also have visited the set.
Sure.
He might have just showed up and hung out, or he might have had a meeting with Stephen Moffat. Like, he could have been on set and also not filmed anything.
And not filmed a single thing. That's true. Yeah. Jake Stanley says, maybe you guys could do a review of the new spinoff show, Class. Now, Class is that new BBC show that's set in the school that Clara taught in.
Yeah, which the Chestertons
the
also
Chestertons,
taught
yeah.
The Chesterfields.
Peter Capaldi is in the first episode as the pilot. We're not planning on doing a review show for Class. I do plan on watching Class, at least the first episode, because I want to see Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. Anything that Peter Capaldi as the Doctor does, I want to see it. I don't think we're going to review this show. I've not heard great things.
I don't plan on watching it because the BBC shows that I like that do web-exclusive content, it's usually not very... I'm sorry, BBC. Being Human's web series was terrible.
This is actually airing on BBC.
Oh, is it?
Yes, this is not a web series.
Oh, I thought it was a web series.
No.
Well, I still think it's a silly idea, and I don't want to watch it, so I'm not going to watch it.
It's actually... The reason why he's asking for a review is because it just now started airing on BBC America.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Apparently, all the episodes have aired on the other side of the pond for all our English viewers. There you go. So we're not planning on doing that. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. Mr. Z71 says, I subscribe to the idea that John Sims' master never regenerated and that Misty has been is it Ronnie or Ranny? I forgot.
I've always heard Ronnie.
Yeah, it is the Ronnie. Excuse me. Ronnie all along. Okay, now if you don't know, Ronnie is a time lady evil scientist that fought the 6th Doctor and the 7th Doctor.
She's pretty cool. In the pantheon, I think, of Time Lord villains, I like the Ronnie. I
originally thought Missy was the Ronnie.
I would be up for the idea that she's punked the Doctor this entire time. But I think it's unlikely.
I disagree with this theory because with the exception of Peter Capaldi and Missy, they have shown that most of the time Time Lords can recognize each other beyond their regenerations. Yes. Now, they had to, slip that under the rug because of Missy, because we needed that big reveal. I think Missy's the master. I think Mistress, Master, I think that's it. I would love the Ronnie to come back.
I think she's a character, too, that is poised to come back.
Yeah. But I don't think it's Missy. No. Mike Lyle says, I want to start watching Doctor Who, but no idea where to start. Damn, this series is deeper than the ocean. Any help on where and which Doctor to start with? Well, the pilot, Series 10, the 12th Doctor, was a perfect introduction. I would say carry through this season because they built it around Bill. You also, we both also think the 11th Hour.
I think the 11th Hour
with the 11th Doctor
is a great introduction, not least of all because of my bias that I like the 11th Doctor the best, but like the pilot, it is a cold introduction to the world.
Yep.
Way better than the 2005 new pilot.
Rose.
Rose, I think, is a difficult series
to
jump into. And then because Christopher Eccleston doesn't stick around, it's difficult to invest yourself in something that's changing so quickly. And I think if you start with the 11th Hour and you like it, then you can move backward much more easily. So please check those out.
Ollie Remen says, what if John Sims' master is stuck in the vault and maybe Missy trapped in there? That's a cool idea. I'd be down for that.
I think that would be a really interesting way to reintroduce him to the world.
Ian Owen says, I think it's possible that the Doctor and River had a child during their 24-year night on Beryllium. Though then, through some wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey thing, that child has a daughter named Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter. Now, Susan is the first companion of the Doctor. I will say this. That's a very nice theory.
I think that's sweet, yeah.
I don't think it's true. I will say this because I have some proof to back this up.
Okay.
Arctur is Susan's Gallifreyan name.
Mm-hmm.
Susan has a Gallifreyan name. And there has been a little bit of allusions in the classic series. The Master made some comments a couple of times that the Doctor has no children.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives credence a little bit to maybe Susan isn't actually his biological granddaughter.
Maybe she's adopted?
Maybe she was just somebody he knew.
Yeah.
And traveled along. And they traveled for so long together that he was just like, oh, granddaughter.
Yeah, it also might have been a ruse that they developed in order to explain their relationship to people on Earth.
Yeah.
Like, that might have been easier than, like, this is my companion.
Yeah, true.
But that would be sweet.
Comic Callan says, in the Doctor Who comic, it's called retro regeneration. Now, we were talking about this before, my Capaldi theory about him retro regeneration. This is true. I did not know about this. Apparently, my theory exists in Doctor Who canon. Retro regeneration, I looked this up, is the process of regenerations being forced in reverse, causing the Time Lord in question to revert to previous incarnations. It has so far only been seen in the comic books.
And the comics aren't always hard canon. Sometimes there's stuff that's lifted that becomes canon, but the fact that it already exists in Doctor Who lore is really interesting.
I think maybe that's Stephen Moffat canonizing something from the comic books.
He's such a nerd.
Yeah, there you go. Second Nature says, hi, folks. I hear you ask if anyone knows where the rug that Bill gave the Doctor came from in the pilot. It was bought from our shop. We missed the first bit of the storyline as we were so excited to see it on Doctor Who, especially when it was gifted to him as a Christmas present rather than being used as a background prop. We are a small fair trade shop in Dumfries, Scotland, and the producers bought this from our online shop last year, and we've been waiting to see it ever since. We will put some links to this shop in our description below. Now, you said you looked online. They don't have it?
They don't have it!
We wanted to buy it.
Because it's fair trade, I don't know if maybe they only had one of it,
Maybe
or they
so.
only had a couple left. I would assume if it's fair trade, there's not a lot in stock because it's not mass-produced from a factory. They have a lot of designs that are really similar to it. They deliver all over the world.
Let's just say this. Second Nature, thank you so much for checking out our video. All the way from Scotland. And second, everybody out there, just know that this is the shop that the Doctor thinks rugs are acceptable. So you know what that means? Every rug in their shop, Time Lord approved.
Is acceptable, yes.
He keeps it. He keeps that rug. So even if you can't find their specific rug, go check them out.
There's a lot of cool ones. Yeah. And if you're ever thinking of running a business, this is good marketing. This is how to run a good business.
Second Nature.
Thank you so much.
Am I saying that right? Dumfries?
Dumfries, Scotland.
Dumfries, Scotland. Well done. Well done. Thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Storm King said, I wonder if they will tie his regeneration into the Doctor becoming the Valeyard of Season 6. Now, if you don't know what the Valeyard is...
Jason, I don't know what the Valeyard is.
Well, the Valeyard is an amalgamation of all the evil inside of the Doctor, taken from somewhere between his 12th and final incarnations. The Time Lords made him. They used Black Ops technology, and they kind of use them as a weapon. The Valeyard is an idea that's really cool, but not great in execution.
And I think not great for the current continuity.
Well, here's the problem with this. The Valeyard would have had to have happened before Time of the Doctor, which was Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor's final episode. We did not see the Valeyard anywhere. So, I mean, I guess you could say... I don't know. I think the Valeyard is going to be a concept that's going to be forgotten, especially since we're now in Peter Capaldi, technically the 13th regeneration.
Yes, and I think if you want to keep it in your head canon, just assume that it happened off camera, because these can't possibly be all the adventures that the Doctors go on.
And for our final comment, Rebel in the High Castle says, also, there was an audio cue during the scene when Bill confronts the Doctor about how he would feel if he lost his memory. They briefly played Clara's theme. Yes, they did. I caught that. Murray Gold is the man who composes all the music for Doctor Who, especially since the new series has started. Yeah. He created the 11th Doctor's theme. He created the amazing 12th Doctor's theme. He created all that music and Clara's theme as well, too. I picked up on that. I did listen to it. I love listening to the Doctor Who soundtracks. If you don't listen to most of them are on Spotify, if you're ever looking for them. They are great, great music. They're amazing. And Murray Gold does some amazing stuff. And I'm still waiting for the Season 9 soundtrack, BBC. Where the hell is that? I want to listen to it. especially the awesome music from Heaven Sent.
Aw.
But Murray Gold, well done, and great job to you, Rebel in the High Castle, for checking all that stuff out.
Nice return to that music cue.
Yeah. All right, so stick around. Next week, we're going to have a review of Episode 2 and Episode 3. You're going to get a double dose of the Time Lord next weekend. So make sure you click subscribe and then head on down to the comments and let us know what you think about some of the theories we talked about in this video.
And why not click on one of the videos that's popped up on your screen? If you like them, go over to patreon.com/Jawiin, donate, and get some more exclusive content.
We'll see you next week for a double dose of Doctor Who, Time Lords.